Yo, I just got to pause and say, this is the best theory I've heard thus far.
I'm so engrossed right now.
Yeah. What is going on there, citizens of the Reject Nation? John, how is it going?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, you asked me. What? That's not how this goes.
Oh.
All right, guys, we're going to watch from our buddy Ryan Arey over at Screen Crush, Kang's Plan. What is it in the Multiverse Saga? Love me some Ryan Arey videos. And guys, just wanted to give a quick mention in case you haven't heard. Real Rejects, Heavy Spoilers, and Screen Crush have partnered together to bring you a one-stop nerd shop for all of our apparel combined. Ryan Arey, Screen Crush himself, has himself an amazing shirt. It is awesome. Envious of the idea, guys. We also have our merch up there as well. I want to thank everyone who has gone over there and bought some stuff because whatever you guys get supports the channel. Obviously, we looked at the sales today and they were actually pretty awesome. So thank you guys.
And showed up.
And speaking of Kang, we have a special shirt that we are debuting relatively soon. So shopzeroedition.com. You can go check out everything we got to offer over there. Thank you guys once again, and thank you to, of course, Ryan Arey and Paul. Heavy Spoilers is his last name. Let's see what this plan is, Mr. Theory Boy.
It means that you would enter a quantum realm.
What does that mean?
It means that you would enter a reality where all concepts of time and space become irrelevant.
Good setup, good tease, good editing.
Welcome back to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Arey. Kang the Conqueror is the big bad of the MCU's Multiverse Saga, the one who's going to battle the Avengers for the fate of the multiverse in the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Luckily, we won't have to wait that long for Kang to arrive. Jonathan Majors is returning as Kang the Conqueror in Quantumania.
See you soon.
According to the comic book trailer, he is the main villain of the third Antman movie. But that's not all. Kang is actually in the quantum realm. Or what's it doing there? And how's that connect to the Multiverse Saga? Well, obviously, it has something to do with time travel. The quantum realm is how you travel through time, and Kang is all about that sweet, sweet time. But we think there is something far bigger at play. Kang's master plan is going to be far more ambitious than just time travel. The quantum realm is the key for everything. Ant-Man 3 might have just become one of the most important movies in the Multiverse Saga.
Hey, you know who confirmed it is? Peyton Reed. He said something or another. Here's the quote about it being important or a game changer, or I'm contributing to the video.
Ant-Man is the most important. Now watch it come out and it have nothing almost to do with any
Yeah,
of
it's
the
like
rest
a bunch of Marvel bullshit again.
Phase 5 has no direction.
So, in the Comic-Con trailer for Quantumania, we see that the Ant Squad are sucked into the quantum realm. I guess that after Endgame, Hank and Janet are investigating the realm. Something goes wrong with their experiment, and now they're all stuck in the quantum realm. Again.
Oh, not again.
Up until now, the quantum realm seemed to be mostly empty. The only life in it were the tardigrades, those strange micro bug creatures.
Make sure you
Yeah, I know
stay
the
out
name
of
of
the tardigrade fields. They're cute, but they'll eat you.
Those are real.
But the trailer shows that there are people inside the quantum realm now, both of the human and alien variety. This is something that was hinted at in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Groundhog
When
Day
Hank and
happens in
Janet
the
are
quantum
leaving the
realm.
They pass this tiny bubble city. Janet must have spent more time in that city, which explains how she survived those 30 years in the quantum realm.
Probably got it on with some people in there while you wait for Hank Pym to show up.
Dude, she's probably been with like 12 different Kang variants. It's like a whole hero-gasm of Kangs.
The Kang train coming in.
Kanggasm!
So the MCU's quantum realm is an amalgamation of two separate dimensions from the comics, the quantum zone and the Microverse. The latter is the home of the Micronauts, a superhero team that lives in the micro realm. The Microverse was created and inhabited by a time-traveling group that went back in time from the very far future. Marvel will most likely go in a similar direction for the residents of this bubble city, with Kang being their ruler. Now, in case you didn't know, Kang comes from the future.
A variant of myself lived on Earth in the 31st century.
Kang is Nathaniel Richards, a scientist from the 30th century who discovered
Damn,
the
great
multiverse
footage
and
pull.
time
Yeah.
travel. Oh, and this city is probably Chronopolis. In the comics, it's Kang City. It's his base of operations from where he rules all of his other realms. So, as per usual, Marvel is combining tons of different things from the comics. So what all of this means is that Kang is actively conquering the entire quantum realm. And we have a theory on what Kang is planning that we're going to go over in just a moment. First, let's take a look at Kang's menacing speech to Scott, since his words give us some hints about his plan. They also give us a hint of what kind of Kang we'll meet in Quantumania. And that's important because we have no idea which Kang variant this will be. That's the thing with Kang. There are countless infinite versions of him, and each variant is different.
Oh my god. I want that Kang.
Just the one white Kang
Who's
with the
this
big
Kang?
white eyes.
Oh my god. Get Richard Jenkins to play this guy. I can see it happening.
Oh, yeah, I want it. I
Or
want it.
freaking, not Richard Jenkins, Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd played this guy.
It's about time he did an MCU.
I could totally see it happening. I get Danny Trejo.
Oh, dude. Just start a bucket list of all the Kangs you want to see as different actors.
Kang don't text.
Kang improvises.
Kang conquers.
So the gist of Kang's speech is how time is not a straight line. The timeline is not linear, it is a loop. That's how the sacred timeline appeared in Loki. Kang then tells Scott that he has seen everything that will happen. He knows how it all ends. And that is exactly how He Who Remains saw time. He literally had a script for everything that ever happened and will happen. He doesn't perceive time in a linear way like most beings in the multiverse. He experiences every moment at once.
As a
Basically
flat
like
circle.
Dr. Manhattan.
I know it all, and I've seen it all.
So, from Kang's speech, we
Sounds
can
awful.
gather that he perceives time similarly to He Who Remains. That might be because this variant took over the time variant's authority, as we've seen at the end of Loki. Or perhaps he didn't unlock this godlike ability just yet, and what Kang actually means is he explored every corner of the timeline. He has traveled into countless timelines. The time travel rules in the MCU make it clear that every trip to the past creates a new timeline.
If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past.
But that's where the Miss Marvel episode threw kind of a wrench in the whole time travel thing, you know?
Yeah.
Remember how that caused a big fiasco?
Definitely.
Riots in the streets, people petitioning the Disney building in Burbank, California.
The rules.
Going, fix your
The
cinematic
canon.
universe and restore the Batgirl movie, they
That's
were
right.
saying at the Disney lot. They were all confused on what's going on.
Dio and Bilal directed both. What do we do?
What do we do?
Multiverse incursion event.
But no, you're right, Ryan. Let's just go off of what Endgame said.
That's the ultimate canon right there.
As long as Kang doesn't interfere with the time stream too much, he can just observe and see what happens in every moment of time. And this is confirmed by the ending of the trailer, as Antman meets Kang. Scott says that he's an Avenger, so Kang is messing with the wrong guy.
Hi, I'm Scott.
I don't even know who you are.
No, you wouldn't have heard of me.
Kang's response is just perfectly cold and dismissive. He simply asks, "You are an Avenger. Have I killed you before?" So this means that Kang fought the Avengers before and that he killed them all. I love this.
I hope he delivers it the way you delivered it, Ryan. You're an Avenger. I fought you before.
I love this. He's so perky.
Everyone I've heard do that line is like, "You're an Avenger. Have I killed you before?"
Killed you before. Everyone puts on their Josh Brolin grit. Yeah.
You're an Avenger. I fought you before.
You're an Avenger, eh? Have I killed you before? No way.
Don't trust this nice guy act. I know this man.
He's a scumbag.
This means that Kang has been traveling throughout time and space, exploring other timelines, and he killed the Avengers so many times. At this point, killing Earth's mightiest heroes is an afterthought. He can't even remember which ones he's killed. So, when Kang faces the Avengers in Kang Dynasty, he already knows everything about them. He will predict each of their moves, counter every one of their attacks. This is a battle he experienced countless times before.
You time-sliding son of a bitch.
So this makes me believe that the Kang variant we'll see in Quantumania is going to be the main Kang who will fight the Avengers in Phase 6.
Oh, fascinating.
This movie is a type of an origin story for Kang. We're going to see how this Kang becomes the biggest baddie in the multiverse. But remember, so far the Quantum Realm was only used for time travel. But we're fairly certain that the Quantum Realm is both the key for traveling both through time and the multiverse. There's a clear visual parallel between the Quantum Realm and the way the multiverse is depicted. The multiverse is always represented by this crystallic glass. We see it in the Watcher's nexus of all realities, as well as whenever the barriers between universes shatter. The same glass effect appears in No Way Home when reality shatters, and in the portals America Chavez creates. A similar crystallized glass appears inside the Quantum Realm. We see it when Scott shrinks to the very bedrock of reality.
Such cool visuals.
I know, just get lulled in.
Janet. And we saw Doctor Strange in this same dimension in the Ancient One's electric Kool-Aid acid.
Yes, you made your point, right?
The size, the material, it all fits.
So what I'm getting at is that the quantum realm is a gateway, not just for time travel, but for the whole multiverse. So it's the key for it all. And here is what Kang is planning. The reason why he wants to rule the quantum realm is because...
Drum roll, please. Can anybody guess?
He wants to create his very own sacred timeline. The sacred timeline was created by He Who Remains. Eons ago, there was a multiversal war between the Kang variants. Reality almost ended. He Who Remains isolated a collection of realities from the multiverse, creating the sacred timeline.
I actually like already where you're going with this. I've heard several theories about what Kang's role might be in Ant-Man Quantumania. And one thing that often gets brought up is, guys, you got to remember that there's multiple Kangs and multiple Kang variants. So that might not even be the Kang that we see ultimately in Kang Dynasty, who's the real big baddie of the MCU. But I actually prefer the method of introducing not a Kang variant, but the Kang to kick off the MCU. So yeah, you know, if the theories are floating about there might be a major death, I'm opting for Hank Pym being that major death in Ant-Man Quantumania. I know people like the film theorists are opting for, you know, Paul Rudd.
Scott Lang.
Scott Lang, his name, not Scott Pilgrim. Scott Lang. That's a big thing that people have been talking about lately. But where you're going with this sounds just like much more different than what we've gotten with the MCU, where it's like, yeah, you kind of check in and we're reminded that there's a Thanos here, there's a Thanos here. But if Phase 5 is really you're watching Kang's manipulation throughout all of the movies, especially that being the kickoff film, Quantumania, I think that's just a much more compelling way to go.
Absolutely agree.
Now that He Who Remains is dead, that same multiverse war is going to start all over again. Multiverse of Madness established the incursions as the threat to the multiverse.
Incursion?
An incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes and they collide, destroying one or both entirely.
Incursions wipe out whole
John
universes.
Krasinski didn't know what he was talking about.
Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Now, we went over all of that in this video, so feel free to check that out later. Anyway, no Kang variant is safe in this war. Each one of their universes could be destroyed at any given moment. All of their traveling in between universes triggered incursions, so they have no choice but to fight each other. It's the only way they can survive the war.
But someone is coming. Countless different versions of a very dangerous person, and they're all set on war. We need to prepare.
And this is why Kang is in the quantum realm. This reality is a separate universe, a one-of-a-kind dimension in the whole of existence. The quantum realm is a passageway between all realities, the bedrock of the multiverse, a place where time and space are irrelevant. If that's the case, it means that the quantum realm is safe from incursions. Kang goes there because it's the one place he's safe from his other variants. Sure, if his universe is hit by an incursion, then it will be wiped out, but he will survive.
Nicely done.
But Kang is a conqueror. He's not planning to hunker down and hide forever. He Who
Kang
Remains
the
found a way
Conqueror.
to protect his timeline from incursions by creating the sacred timeline. And that's what Kang wants to achieve. He wants to protect his universe, a universe where he rules the past, present, and future. His only way to win and survive the multiversal war, and the quantum realm is the key.
Once I isolated our timeline, all I have to do is manage the flow of time and prevent any further branches.
Now, we don't know exactly how he achieved that. From what he
Fascinating.
says, Alioth was part of it. Or maybe he simply used Alioth to wipe out all the other timelines.
I weaponized Alioth, and I ended the multiversal war.
It's up to interpretation, and I'm sure Marvel is going to explain it however they wish. But I assume that on his travels, Kang found some clues that pointed him to the quantum realm. The trailer shows that Kang is building or using some kind of ring device inside the realm. It looks like a rotating gimbal. This sort of reminds me of the Mobius strip from Endgame, the one which Tony used to solve time travel. Kang might be building a super quantum computer that will be powered by quantum energy.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
All of that power will go into isolating the whole universe from the multiverse. Well, unless it's a type of Death Star that he's going to use to blow up other universes from the quantum realm. Wouldn't put it past the MCU to go in this direction.
It's another Death Star.
For why is the quantum realm so important for creating the sacred timeline? Well, you see, the dimension is a gateway between timelines and universes, meaning that in the entire multiverse there is but one quantum realm. It's sort of like the bedrock of reality.
Bedrock! Twitch! Twitch!
For example, look how Hank Pym described the realm.
You would enter a reality where all concepts of time and space become irrelevant.
Which is similar to how time works in the TVA.
You know, time passes differently here in the TVA.
meaning that the TVA could actually be located in the quantum realm.
Wow.
Took over the quantum realm and used its energy to create the sacred timeline. Then he put the TVA in charge of policing that sacred timeline, ensuring that everything that needs to happen will happen, and eliminate potential Nexus events which could branch off the timeline. Kang took over the TVA and Loki. That means that he must be aware of all this. If the TVA does indeed exist in the quantum realm, then it means that Kang controls a godlike power. Just look at what He Who Remains was able to do. He was able to nullify any superpowers and magic. Anyone with the TVA neck brace becomes completely powerless. We see something similar to that in Multiverse of Madness, though those were created by Christine with the magic relic.
I developed those using the sands of Nisanti.
Also, remember how Sylvie can't use her magic in the TVA headquarters? She didn't have one of those neck braces, but she was still powerless. Even the Infinity Stones were nerfed inside the TVA.
Some of the guys use them as paperweights.
Yo, I just got to pause and say, this is the best theory I've heard thus far.
I'm so engrossed right now.
Yeah, I was just getting wrapped up in that. That would actually just tie up so much of that one cliffhanger that we got of Loki season 1. And explain it all away relatively quick.
Yeah, and then maybe with He Who Remains gone, yeah, like it's the quantum realm is free for another Kang to come in and take it. And I mean, what he's saying here, like, now that I'm hearing it, it makes the most sense to me that, yeah, like the quantum realm would be the one constant across all these multiverses that then not only would be important for time travel, but probably would be important to, like, the ultimate solution. Like, you know, there's like so many different ways to traverse between timelines and you know, the different facets of the universe, but like the way that they're touting this as being like Ant-Man's most important movie and a very important movie to the Avengers. He keeps saying bedrock, and I feel like this could get into the roots of how the entire thing works if they, you know, conceive it well enough. And then that makes me go, okay, what is Loki season 2 going to explore in this space between all of times? Because that gives us a big clue about the TVA as well. This sort of floating thing within the quantum realm that, you know, again, anybody could take hold or influence over. So it does really seem like if you want to be the god who controls this whole universe, you go to the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best picture he's painted so far.
He Who Remains found a way to weaponize quantum energy in a way that negates all other energies. Now, imagine that in Kang Dynasty, the Avengers battle Kang, but he just creates some quantum bubble around himself, nullifying all of their attacks. Even the combined power of Thor, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and the Scarlet Witch won't make a dent.
Is this the greatest power in the universe?
Despite all of that power, He Who Remains has one kryptonite, the same one Kang will have if he creates the sacred timeline. Everything on the sacred timeline is preordained. Even He Who Remains was still a slave to it. Just like everyone else in it, he lacked free will. We see that in this moment.
We just crossed the threshold.
Now, the meaning of crossing the threshold is still a mystery, but what this moment means is that He Who Remains no longer knew what was coming next. Every moment past the threshold was not preordained in the sacred timeline.
But now I have no idea how the rest of this is going to go.
And for some reason, at that moment, the sacred timeline begins to branch off again, even before Sylvie kills He Who Remains. That may be because up to this point, He Who Remains controlled the sacred timeline, but once they crossed the threshold, he wasn't in control anymore. Every decision made by anyone in the timeline is now causing it to branch off into infinity.
A single choice created a whole new hero. There. That's the moment that created a new universe.
That would make actually so much sense when Feige was saying that everything that we've been seeing that's been taking place, a lot of it is due to the events of Loki season 2, that they will explain how that's possible, like with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, how breaking through the multiverses is occurring, or maybe even the existence of America Chavez.
Oh, yeah.
And even Spider-Man No Way Home, 1,000,000%, you could see how this is all linked to it as well. Like, suddenly I'm like, oh my God, you could see it. You know, it always kind of like figured that.
Yeah.
The way it's being illustrated here is making it so much clearer, where I'm like, the direction has always been there.
Yeah, right?
Like,
and then you think,
whoa.
Totally. And then you think, like, okay, so Loki season 1, we were doing a lot of setup and we had to get Loki to a certain point. But now from Loki season 2, we could probably survey the whole multiverse from here.
Yeah,
know?
Because a lot of it always was leading to, how is this happening? That is always the question that one of the characters is having. Like, okay, now we know what's happening, but but how?
Yeah, and it's like the further we get, the more it feels like, the Loki, the timeline breaks, and everything we've seen in Phase 4 is just more and more branches setting up to, collide.
Maybe not everything, but a lot of things.
A lot of things.
That means that there is a far greater power at play, something beyond He Who Remains, and that is what Kang really needs to solve. He needs a way to control the sacred timeline even beyond the threshold. The way to do that is to control time in a way that He Who Remains couldn't. That means being able to travel through time without creating a branching timeline. So we're talking about time travel that allows you to go back in time and change your
just actually go past
With such
linear.
an ability, Kang could see beyond the threshold and change his past accordingly. This way, he always wins because time is always on his side. Now, there is a way to change the past without creating a new timeline, and that is with the Time Stone. But, as we've seen in What If, there are some serious strings attached to the Time Stone, the type of strings that destroy universes.
I'm creating a paradox.
You're risking the universe. You cannot reverse an absolute point.
Also, I just don't think the Infinity Stones will play a major role in the Multiverse Saga. In the comics, Dr. Doom created a device which allows him to travel back in time without creating a new timeline, and actually he can affect his own past. This device is called a Doom Lock, and Kang is likely trying to create something similar inside the quantum realm. But it's highly unlikely that Kang will be successful in creating his own sacred timeline. This is because of the comic stories that Avengers 5 and 6 will be based on. So the Kang Dynasty comic has nothing to do with the multiverse, so the story is going to be heavily changed for the MCU. So I wager that the main source of inspiration for Avengers 5 will actually be Time Runs Out event. Directly leading into Secret Wars. That story is Avengers 6. Just before reality ended, Dr. Doom took the godlike power of the Beyonders and used it to create Battleworld. So that's a patchwork reality consisting of the surviving universes. I'm pretty sure that the quantum realm will end up being the MCU's Battleworld. In the Kang Dynasty, Kang will take control of the quantum realm, but the Avengers and his own variants will thwart his master plan of creating his own sacred timeline. But the incursions will collapse reality and the multiverse will end. But right before that, Kang will use all of that quantum energy to transform the quantum realm into Battleworld. And that is how Kang will save reality.
You're welcome.
But as the Conqueror, he will rule the remnants of reality as a god. So it'll be up to the Avengers to stop him and then use the realm to restart the multiverse. And that is the importance of the quantum realm for the Multiverse Saga. That is what we believe is Kang's master plan. But what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments
That was
below
brilliant.
or at me on Twitter. And if it's
And
your
that's,
first
like,
time here, be sure to
interesting.
subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Arey.
Because, at that point...
That was brilliant, man.
Oh, my goodness. And then the quantum realm would be like the level playing field where they can, have the showdown, and then Kang gets to be both the savior but even more of the villain. Like, it's crazy.
But I want Dr. Doom.
Everybody wants Dr. Doom.
They're having Fantastic Four show up like a few movies beforehand. You'd think they get Dr. Doom, but they're
I mean, I still could very much see Dr. Doom swooping in as like your switcheroo, like, I'm here to bail you guys out, but that's gonna come back and bite you later.
You give a whole big role to Kang. In the comics, Dr. Doom created Battleworld. Come on.
Again, like, I feel like all bets are off on one hand because of the multiverse. Like, we could totally see a battle world assembled by Kang, but the other part of me goes, like, I don't know if people would be willing to. I feel like there are a lot of changes people will give the benefit of the doubt to. I don't know if that's one of them.
Well, I don't know. All I know is, Ryan, you put together an amazing video. That was seriously a great video, man. So, thank you guys for being here. Subscribe to Screen Crush if you haven't done so. You can check out our shop, zeroedition.com. I only need to say shop once. I said it twice there.
Shop twice.
Let's end this with a page. Maria Hammond, my dear, she bought a shirt from shopzeroedition.com.
Maria got that fresh drip.
I don't know if you want us to show your face on screen, and I don't want to get in trouble for doing that, but so we're going to blur your face out, but you're rocking one of our tees.
You could be anyone, but that tee couldn't.
That tee actually sold out, and you were one of the lucky people to get that final tee. So I want to thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting us at our Patreon, supporting us in this apparel venture we have ventured into with the venturing. And then also, thank you so much for supporting us just as human beings. We have human rights too. So I appreciate how much consideration you throw our way and how much thoughtfulness goes into everything you do when it comes to us. So thank you for being just an amazing spirit and a wonderful human being. Love you, dear.
Love you, Maria.